We are very close to getting an answer on who will be quarterback one for Fresno State.
You are Locked On Pac-12, your daily podcast on the Pac-12 Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on in, Locked On Pac-12. I'm your host, Khristian Rauh. Al Scott of Fresno Sports Magazine joins me for this bonus edition. Welcome on into the show. We got a fun one for you today. Garrett Klassy gets an extension, the athletic director at Fresno State. We're going to get our thoughts on that one. Al's got some fun talk about some NFL prospects. Fresno State Bulldogs making some noise in the preseason. But first, want to get a fall camp update on Matt Entz's squad. At the beginning, of course, we have to start off with the quarterback battle. It sounds like we're going to get an answer very, very soon, Al.
Yeah, the timeline points to Tuesday being the day. If not Tuesday, it'll be Wednesday when Matt Entz will make his decision on who will be starting at quarterback when it comes time for Friday, September 4th, when the Bulldogs head to the LA Coliseum. Exciting week. I think Khristian Martin is going to be the guy, but if Jayden Mandal is named the quarterback, I think Fresno State's in safe hands either way. They've got a good situation going, and I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, we heard this from Jamarcus Shepard, the head coach of Oregon State. He said when he names the quarterback, they will be the quarterback for the season. They intend to have QB1. They're going to give all the support around him. Do you feel like that's going to be the same for Matt Entz? Obviously, there was quarterback situations last year, almost a revolving door towards the end. Do you see this being hey, this is our quarterback, we're going to stick with him, or this job is open for the taking week in and week out?
Remains to be seen. Last year, Entz was the polar opposite of what you just said, Shepard said. He very much left it open that if the expectations were not met, then they would go in a different direction. And last year, EJ Warner did not meet the expectations that Fresno State needed at quarterback, and so they switched over to Carson Conklin, who had a 3-game run, and then they decided to switch it back. Which, I don't know if that affected the way EJ played, at all, but. Yeah, I would imagine that it's a similar situation this year. Let's say that Martin is named the quarterback and he comes out and after 4 games is just not doing it. I would say that there's a strong chance Jayden gets a chance. And I think that's one of the perks of having a close quarterback battle. I think that if you're a team like Boise State or, San Diego State or Texas State, where you have a more solidified starting quarterback where there really wasn't much of a controversy, I think you are able to come out a little bit earlier and be like, this is our guy, this is our guy for the year, he's our guy. And that it's not that you're saying the guy that's number 2 is not good or anything. It's just you're riding high for your number 1 guy. I think the whole quarterback competition is a tricky situation because you both want to show confidence in your starter. You want to show him like, hey, we believe in you. We believe you're the guy, while also not drowning the limiting the confidence of the guy that's number 2. Because, hindsight 2020 for Fresno State last year, Carson Conklin had to play in Fresno State's 2 most important games last year. He was a starting quarterback against both Boise and San Diego State, which, those are the 2 games you need your best quarterback play on. And I think Conklin would like both of those games back. Now, they were able to win the Boise State one, but frankly, it wasn't because of him. Now, I would just say you want both guys playing at their best. Jayden has said this. He said this during spring ball, and he said it again during fall camp. The team is at its best when, everyone is playing up to their best potential. And I think he hit it nail on the coffin. If Jayden is playing at his best, if Khristian is playing at his best, whoever is lining up under center, Fresno State is going to get their best stuff.
I like that for sure. When I think about this quarterback battle, though, obviously Tuesday is when they're going to announce or hopefully announce a quarterback. Do you think that's too late to give this an answer? And the reason I say that is because this week, obviously, week 0 starts. We don't have any Pac-12 games, but we have college football starting this week. That's a short week, going from Tuesday to the end of the week. And then the following week is naturally a short week for Fresno State because you begin football, the first Pac-12 game against USC. You get the chance to put down the football before any other new Pac-12 school does that. So naturally, you have a short week. So you don't have a single full week to have your quarterback in play, or at least a name starter in play. Do you think that is raising a sign for concern? Because I do personally.
Not really. I mean, I think that the guys in the locker room know who's the guys in the locker room. I think that they've got full trust of whoever it is. I would also add that I think that there's an advantage to USC not knowing. I think that, I mean,
element of surprise. I like that.
There isn't really a whole lot of tape on either of them. I mean,
that's very true.
And I think that's one of the bonuses that Fresno State has. And while Fresno State doesn't have access to that same, whether it be, film on those two guys, USC doesn't have it either. I mean, USC obviously played a lot of teams that Maryland played last year, and so they've got some film on Martin. Obviously, Mandal played a couple of years ago, but there isn't a whole lot of like actual film that they can use that tells you like, okay, this is what we should be seeing. I mean, and so I don't think it's an advantage or disadvantage. I think Fresno State is doing what's best for them right now, and right now that's making sure that they make the right decision.
Lots of stuff to pay attention to for sure, man. That is exciting. This is very exciting that we're going to finally get a signal caller decision this week. We're hearing it across the entire conference, but Fresno State, I've been very clear, and I know you tried to talk me off a ledge last time we talked, but it's a concern for me. So hopefully he gets a chance, whoever it is, to win that quarterback battle and prove me wrong. I can't wait for that to happen. On the other side, let's talk about Garrett Klassy. He gets an extension as the athletic director. This is some big news for Fresno State. Do we like it? Do we hate it? What do we think about it? We'll do that next. It's Locked On Pac-12. Hey, but first, this episode of Locked On Pac-12 is brought to you by our friends at Odoo. Running a business shouldn't feel like you're trying to connect a bunch of systems that were never designed to work together. One app for accounting, another for inventory, another for sales, and somehow none of them talk to each other. That's where Odoo comes in. Odoo is an all-in-one business management software that brings every part of your business together in one powerful platform. From sales to accounting to inventory and marketing, everything works in one place. Odoo is that one platform to manage, grow, and scale your business. The best organizations know that success isn't just about talent. No, it's about having everyone working towards the same goal. And that's true in sports, just like it is in business. We're talking about Fresno State on today's episode. Matt Entz is doing a great job focusing on the Valley, focusing on recruiting, and making sure that he can be successful, not just the little bit he had in year one, but from year two and beyond at Fresno State. Great organizations win because operations matter. And that's why you should get Odoo. Try for free at odoo.com/lockedon. That's odoo.com/locked on. This bonus episode also brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. And baseball fans, if you think you know who's hitting a homer today, FanDuel is giving you a free chance to call your shot with daily dingers. It's easy to play. Just make your free pick for who you think will hit a home run in their game. And if you're right, you'll receive a profit boost. You can use that on your next bet for a chance at extra winnings. Best of all, you can make a free pick every single day throughout the MLB season. Daily Dingers is just another fun way to stay engaged with everyday's games, whether you're following your favorite team or keeping an eye on matchups across the league. Every game has someone capable of going deep. Now it's your chance to make the prediction before first pitch. I know Fresno State fans, Aaron Judge is still out, but there are still plenty of players that you can make to hit a home run. Check them out, whether it's a Yankee, whether it's a San Francisco Giant, a San Diego Padre, Alex team, by the way. You can find a pro player, and if they hit, you can get those free bonus bets. So if you are ready to play your game today, join all the action on FanDuel.com. That's FanDuel.com to play Daily Dingers and make your free pick on who's hitting a homer. Play ball and swing for the fences on FanDuel. It's the official partner of MLB. All right, final few minutes here on this bonus episode of Locked On Pac-12. Thank you so much for making it your first or second listen of the day, and thanks for making the Locked On Podcast Network the #1 sports podcast network in the world. Al Scott of Fresno Sport Magazine hanging out with me today. Go check him out everywhere you can get Fresno Sport Magazine, as well as on Instagram. Man, he crushes it over there. Go check out Al Scott for your next listen today. Go check out. You still doing your podcast too, All Things Considered. It's a great show.
This last week we had on Eric Brooks, wide receiver and a returner for the Calgary Stampeders. He's been killing it for them, but Yeah, and the week before we had Jake Mastro, director of marketing for athletics and fan engagement. Yeah, good couple guys to check out. We'll be having more guests this week and next week.
I love that. Yeah. So Fresno State fans, make sure you go check that out. Pac-12 fans, go check that out if you want to learn more about Fresno State. All right. Garrett Klassy is negotiated a new 5-year contract to take over an extension as the athletic director, obviously, as they head into the Pac-12 conference. We're seeing this across the couple teams that have done this. Washington State just did it with John Harlow. Now you're seeing Garrett Klassy do this as well. Interesting. This is an interesting deal. He'll start off at $480,000. It can increase all the way up to $530,000 in his final year. Obviously, there's a bunch of bonuses involved as well, based on revenue, based on success, based on budget numbers, things like that. But we don't have to dig into that so much. If you want to check that out, you can check out the numbers across many different platforms. But Al, I want to get your take on this. Obviously, this is a big move for Fresno State. Obviously, that's a big move for the university entering the Pac-12. Is Garrett Klassy the right guy to lead them into this new athletic venture into the Pac-12?
The Garrett Klassy extension. We love it. I think he's the guy. I think that he's brought a fresh set of eyes, a fresh set of perspective, while also keeping, the Valley mindset intact. I think that when you look at the wonderful deal that they signed, it hits the nail in the coffin. They signed an innovative deal, which is something that Garrett has brought from day one. He also made sure that it had a Valley impact. They're supporting Valley farmers. They're supporting Fresno State graduates while also putting money back into the university at Fresno State. They're keeping an emphasis on we're the Green V, we're the Valley, we're the agriculture. I mean, Fresno gets a bad rep, like the city of Fresno. But if there's one thing that Fresno brings and the culture around the Central Valley is agriculture. And that's something that Garrett has made a priority from day one, is he wants to know, I'm here for the Valley. I'm here for the farmers. I'm here for the people. I'm here for the people of the Central Valley. That is what drives our university. And Garrett has made that clear from day one. I think that the way that he's, the hires that he's made, head coaches, the decisions he's made, I think the Bulldog Sports Enterprises was a risky, but I think in the long term, it's going to be a fun and exciting venture for Fresno State. And, Garrett, when you look at an athletic director in college sports, I think the biggest thing that you look at in terms of success is you want someone there long term. That is not a position you want a lot of turnover in. I think, like, when you look at head coaches, that's something that, obviously you don't want to keep changing head coaches, but it doesn't stop you from having success. Utah State in basketball, they, had a string of head coaches every single year, but they were still able to be successful. It is very hard to be successful as a university if you're changing your athletic director every 2 to 3 years, because they're the ones that are making the charge. They're in charge of every single sport. And so when you have one guy that's sort of in charge, I mean, not that he doesn't have people under him, but, one main guy making those decisions, everyone's on the same page. Everyone's like, this is the direction we're heading in. Whereas if you bring in a new guy every 2 years, then it's like all the existing head coaches, all the existing, front office people are like, okay, well, now we're changing things up again. And now you're starting all over. I think as far as college athletics goes, the most important position you can have for consistency is the athletic director. And I think as long as you have a solid one, it's a guy worth keeping. And Fresno State, they're paying a pretty penny for it, but I think it's worth it.
Yeah, and it's not like the number one salary in the Pac-12, so it meets towards the top, though. It's definitely competitive. I was reading an article on this, and it was talking about the old athletic director, Terry Toomey. His base salary was at the low end of the Mountain Conference. Now they're talking about how this is competing with the very top. So obviously they're putting in some investment into Klassy to being the athletic director. I didn't want to talk too much numbers, but I just thought this was fascinating. And you did bring up how it's a pretty innovating contract. He's going to get rewarded in bonuses if athletic fundraising reaches a certain level, if multimedia rights revenue reaches a certain level, and if external event revenue from concerts or sporting events or camps, things like that, reach a certain level. So you're right. It goes back to the Valley. It's also focusing on fundraising to make the teams better, NIL better, things like that. And obviously multimedia rights is huge in the eyes of the Pac-12 as well. So really, really like what we're getting from this contract. And I think this is a very good one for not just Klassy, but for the university as well. This is a really good one. I think that you're going to start seeing this a lot more with athletic directors when you see these contracts. These bonuses are very important.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of who Garrett is. He's very motivated to show it. He's actions speak louder than words type of guy. And yeah, I think that he's putting his money where his mouth is. I think that there are some goals that he has that he hasn't been able to fulfill yet, but that hasn't stopped him from trying. That hasn't stopped him from trying to see those goals. And there's things that he has in the works right now that Fresno State fans don't even know about yet. And I think that it's exciting for the future, and I'm excited to have him here for the long term. But yeah, I'm excited for the future with Garrett Klassy.
Love it, man. That's exciting. I mean, obviously, just getting that type of continuity inside the Pac-12 is huge for the future of this conference as well, obviously for the program. All right, before we go, I know you've been focused real hard on NFL preseason, following some of the former Bulldogs and trying to make themselves a roster. There have been a few names that has been sticking out. I saw it on your social media. You sent me some really good ones as well that are really sticking out. Tell me about some of these Fresno State players that are making an impact in the NFL preseason.
Well, in that Saints Rams game, Devontae Adams wasn't playing, but there were a few other former Bulldogs. Jalen Moreno-Cropper had a really nice catch for the Saints. Ronnie Rivers has made a name for himself in the returning game as a depth running back for the Rams. But Alzillion Hamilton, one of my all-time favorite Bulldogs, been able to cover him the last few years at Fresno State. He's a guy who spent his entire career as a Bulldog, which, in college sports, you don't see that much often anymore. But AZ had another great game on Sunday with a big pick for the Rams. And, he's showing that he might make the roster even as an undrafted free agent. He's a guy that has shown resiliency in his life time and time again. And I think that he's a guy that has a chance to be an impact guy at this next level. I mean, corners and secondary is a position that Fresno State has produced over the years, possibly more than any other position, maybe outside of wide receiver. I mean, Deron Bland is killing it for the Cowboys. Evan Williams on the Packers. So I'm excited to see what Alzillion Hamilton can do. Obviously, Julian Neal. I mean, he spent 4 years at Fresno State before playing at Arkansas. He's on the Seahawks. There's a lot to be excited about. Jacob Spomer has a prime opportunity to make things with the Chargers offensive line. Obviously, they have some openings there on that interior offensive line. He's a guy that could make an impact. But yeah, a lot to like for Fresno State and former Bulldogs this year.
Love it, man. Hamilton, that's such a cool story. One of my favorite things about preseason following it is finding those, if you want to call it, quote, diamond in the rough, those UDFAs that really make a name for themselves in the preseason and make an NFL roster. And yeah, if you look at how he's been playing the last couple of weeks, and of course in that Rams Saints game, that's something to really pay attention to as well. So make sure you check that out. Obviously, lots of former players that are trying to make rosters. Fresno State is just a load of them. But of course, you can get across the Pac-12 conference as well. Even though he didn't play in the Pac-12, Fresno State's in the Pac-12. There you go. That's as far as I'll go with that one. All right, it's going to wrap it up. Go ahead.
Before we go, a shout out to former Bulldog Derek Carr. He's going to go coach for a former Pac-12 team, UCLA. Get his feet wet in the coaching ranks. But yeah, a lot to be excited if you're a Bulldog football fan.
That's true. Forgot all about that. Yeah, shout out to Carr. That's really cool. There's going to be some really exciting stuff over the horizon as well. Hopefully he coaches a loss to San Diego State, though. Just going to throw that one out there. All right, let's get on out of here. Make sure you go check out Al Scott, Fresno Sports Magazine, all that good stuff. Come on back here. We got plenty of stuff for you. Multiple episodes coming out every single day until football season's over. And then we'll probably just keep it going as well. So don't worry about that. Please like the video. Please subscribe. This has been Locked On Pac-12.